This morning, you probably woke up and ate something within an hour. Maybe cereal, maybe eggs, maybe just coffee and a granola bar on the way out the door. You call it breakfast. You call it the most important meal of the day. But the real answer is far stranger. For almost the entire history of your species, breakfast did not exist. Not as a meal, not as a habit, not even as a word. Your ancestors did not wake up hungry and reach for food. They woke up and moved. Hunger for them was not an alarm to answer immediately. It was a background hum that could last for hours, sometimes days, without becoming an emergency. Your body still carries the architecture built for that world. You just don't notice it anymore because you never let it run. Think about what your body actually does when you skip a meal. Blood sugar dips. A hormone called ghrelin rises in your stomach. You feel it as irritability, maybe a headache, maybe a strange fog behind your eyes. Modern life treats this as a malfunction to fix immediately. But researchers who study human metabolic evolution see it differently. Kevin Hall, a metabolism researcher at the National Institutes of Health, has spent years studying how the human body actually responds to fasting and feeding patterns. His work suggests that short periods without food are not dangerous at all. They are default. Your body expects gaps. It was built around them. So where did breakfast come from? Not from biology. From clocks. For most of human history, people ate when food was available and when the body signaled real hunger, not scheduled hunger. Hunter-gatherer groups studied by anthropologists did not eat 3 structured meals. They grazed opportunistically, ate large meals after a successful hunt, and often went long stretches with very little. Anthropologist Kim Hill, who has spent decades studying the Ache people of Paraguay, documented eating patterns that swung wildly by the day. Some days brought a surplus of meat. Other days brought almost nothing. The body handled both because it was designed to handle both. Fixed meal times are new, genuinely new. Historians trace the modern 3 meals-a-day structure back only a few hundred years, tightly linked to the rise of factory labor and clock time. Before clocks dictated daily rhythm, people ate according to hunger, daylight, and food availability. Once factories needed workers on synchronized shifts, meals became synchronized too. Breakfast became something you ate not because your body demanded it, but because the whistle blew and you needed fuel before the line started moving. Here's the part that surprises most people. Skipping a morning meal is not unnatural. It might be closer to your biological baseline than eating one. Consider what a body in a fasted state is actually doing. After several hours without food, your body shifts fuel sources. It starts pulling more heavily from stored fat instead of relying only on the last meal's glucose. Growth hormone rises. Cellular repair processes activate. A researcher named Satchidananda Panda, who studies circadian biology at the Salk Institute, has shown that the timing of eating affects far more than digestion. It affects metabolism, gene expression, even how efficiently your body clears out damaged cells. Your ancestors were not eating breakfast. They were living inside exactly the metabolic state Panda studies. Extended morning fasting, followed by food later once it was earned through effort. That word matters. Earned. For a hunter-gatherer, food in the morning was not guaranteed. It came after tracking, after walking, after failed attempts and successful ones. The body's fasted state in the morning wasn't a deprivation. It was the natural condition before effort produced a reward. Hunger sharpened focus. It didn't cloud it. Your ancestors needed clear thinking to track an animal. Read footprints, judge wind direction, decide which way the herd moved. A foggy, sluggish brain would have gotten them killed. So the body evolved to perform well without food in the morning, not despite it. This is where it gets uncomfortable for modern habits. You've probably been told that skipping breakfast slows your metabolism, that it makes you overeat later, that your brain needs glucose first thing to function. Some of that has scientific support in certain contexts, but much of it comes from marketing built in the 20th century, not from deep biological necessity. Cereal companies in the early 1900s spent enormous resources convincing the public that breakfast was essential, medically urgent, something no responsible person would skip. It worked. Within a few decades, an entire culture reorganized its mornings. around a meal that had barely existed as a fixed ritual before. Meanwhile, across many traditional and hunter-gatherer societies studied by anthropologists, no equivalent urgency ever appears. No universal insistence on eating right after waking. Some cultures eat their largest meal at midday. Others eat mainly at night. The human body, it turns out, is remarkably flexible about when calories arrive, as long as they arrive across the day. So why does skipping breakfast feel so uncomfortable now, if your body is built to handle it? Habit. Pure repetition rewires expectation. If you eat at the same time every single day for years, your body starts anticipating food at that hour, releasing hormones in advance, almost like a conditioned reflex. Break the pattern and you feel it, not because your body is failing, but because it has been trained to expect a signal that isn't required biologically. Your ancestors never trained that reflex because their mornings were never fixed. Unpredictability was the norm, and their bodies matched it. There's a modern mirror here, and it's easy to miss. You wake up. You feel a pull toward the kitchen, almost automatic. You assume that pull is hunger. Often it's habit wearing hunger's clothing. The two feel almost identical if you've never separated them. Your ancestors rarely confused the two, because their access to food never allowed comfortable, scheduled indulgence in the first place. None of this means breakfast is bad. If it works for your life, your schedule, your training, your health conditions, there's nothing ancient or unnatural about eating it. The point isn't that modern humans are doing something wrong. The point is that the sense of obligation, the idea that skipping it is dangerous or unnatural, doesn't hold up against what your biology actually evolved for. Your body is not fragile in the morning. It is, if anything, built for exactly this kind of gap. Consider one more detail. Cortisol, the hormone associated with alertness and stress, naturally peaks shortly after waking in nearly everyone. This is sometimes called the cortisol awakening response, and researchers who study it have linked it to preparing the body for activity, not for food. Before you've eaten anything, your body is already gearing up, already mobilizing energy reserves, already alert. That system evolved long before the first bowl of cereal existed. It evolved for movement, for tracking, for deciding, fast, which direction to walk. So the next time your stomach growls before you've eaten anything, and some quiet part of you feels like something is wrong, remember what that growl actually is. It is not an alarm. It is not evidence of a broken system. It is an old signal, inherited from a version of you that walked for miles. Most mornings, before finding anything to eat at all, your body was not designed around a fixed meal at a fixed hour. It was designed around uncertainty, and it handled that uncertainty exceptionally well. This morning, you probably woke up and ate something within an hour, because a clock told you it was time, and a culture told you it was necessary. But the real answer, the one written into your biology, is far stranger and far older. You were never built to eat first thing every single morning. You were built to move first, and to trust that your body would carry you until the food arrived.